And we're back with another installment of PadaDeisos, where if you change your thoughts, you can change the world. That is right. That is right. My name is Dennis. For those of you who don't know, who are joining in, brand new to the show. And today I have a very special guest, my dog. My dog, Shake from Trading Experts. And yeah, I'm excited, man. This is a long time coming. And yeah, I mean, let's go ahead, talk, man.
I said we had fun this weekend. I mean, we got to reconnect. We had a little meetup.
Oh yeah.
Had a couple cocktails, and this podcast came about. I'm pumped for making it happen.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So I did have the honor of speaking with your partner Ben. And before we get into all that good stuff, Trading Experts, and what we're here for today, Shake, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you like to do for fun.
I started Trading Experts with Bennett 3 or 4 years ago at this point. I've been full-time trading for 7 years now. And it's just completely engulfed my life. But besides that, I'm a big sports guy. I love basketball, football, all that normal stuff. Moving out to Colorado soon. Gonna become a mountain man.
Yeah. All right, dope. All right, so I mean, let's jump right in. So you met your partner Ben at a trading firm, right? So what was the hiring process for like?
The hiring process, good question. So it was like, so you went in there and you would have to sit at the desk and you'd be doing your interview in front of everyone else. It was so fucking awkward because everyone at the desk was listening. They tried to make you super uncomfortable to see how you'd kind of react in those situations. Right. And then they asked you basic questions about the market. And it seemed like, after, in the beginning, when I first interviewed, I was like so nervous. I was, shaking in my boots, all that. But then afterwards, it kind of seemed like they were very lenient on like who they would hire, who they would bring in. They'd pretty much bring in anybody they wanted to hang out with or they felt they could, do the day-to-day with. And then once you actually got hired, that's when they would be really fucking strict and make you go nuts. And they were trying to, so they would pretty much hire anybody. And then once you got hired, they would try to weed you out. Yeah. Because to them, it was just all about finding out if you could make it or not.
Try to get rid of the weakest.
Exactly. So the first couple months there are just fucking hell. You're putting these crazy hours in. You're not even thinking about making a dime. It's not even in your mental framework because you're just trying to learn so much so quickly. So it was, that those first few weeks are all about, getting over the process and being the new guy and getting the older traders would come to the shitty desks at the end of the day and be like, oh, what the fuck did you trade today? What the fuck did you? Yeah. And it was like this super intimidating process. So in the beginning, after that hiring process, it was all about kind of weeding out, the weak individuals.
So what were the first few months like? I mean, you kind of said that, the older guys are like, yo, what were you doing? What your ass was doing? But what were the first few months like?
So the first few months, it was a huge learning process, huge learning curve. It was so funny. I remember my first day on the desk. I did not know much about trading. I Googled, what's the difference between day trading and swing trading? So fucking funny now that I do it. I mean, because how engrossed I am with it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that first month, you're locked in textbooks or not books, like little handbooks that they have for you. And you're just trading on a simulator and you're just asking questions. You're on this really beginner desk with a lot of other beginner traders. So they're expecting you to ask the beginner question. But, if you don't know what you just asked a week ago, right. The next week, you're going to get hated. And once you're hated, the big dogs all fucking, you don't get any love shown to you. And there are a lot of favorites shown. It was really funny to me how much it would be like you were liked as good as your P&L was. That's how much you were liked. If you were a good trader, they loved you. If you weren't anything special, get the fuck out. And that was literally it. That was it.
Yeah, you weren't known around the office if you weren't a good trader.
No. And it was brutal if you weren't, because the big dogs, they would come and they would pick on you. And for example, I'll change his name. We'll say his name was Leon. This guy was Leon. Yeah. Start with an L. I'm going close. But so he was always very timid. He was a timid trader, and he was just the most brilliant guy I've ever met, the smartest guy. But the problem is he had problems physically clicking the button because he was just I don't want to lose money, and he'd get all in his head. And they just made this guy's life hell from day one until the day he finally quit, because they knew he wasn't going to be a trader, so they just wanted to make him quit as soon as possible so they could free up that desk. They wanted the next guy on that desk to figure out, if he was going to be the one to make it, because they already figured Leon, he was done. They saw that after a week. So they're like, all right, let's get this guy off the desk. Let's make his life hell until he says uncle,
Did they ever like fire people, or did they just treat him so bad that they had to quit?
So they wouldn't often fire people because they made money. So it wasn't in their best interest to fire you because they made money off their traders.
Right.
So for example, I trade on Interactive Brokers. They're my broker. So the thing with the prop firms is they were the broker for all the traders. So they get all these guys to trade. They want you to trade as much as possible, and then they're making money as I trade. They're like the ticket taker, if you will. Right. So they wanted as many guys on the desk trading as much as often. So a guy like Leon, I almost said his name, he was of no use to them. This guy wasn't trading. He wasn't forwarding the business for them. He wasn't shit to them. So it was like, all right, let's just make this guy's living life hell. So then they come to the desk at the end of the day, the older guys, they'd say, the fuck did you trade? And he would be like, well, I was going to trade Tesla and then this and this and this. And then they would laugh and laugh and laugh and just make the guy feel like shit until he quit.
All right. So good thing that you mentioned prop trading, because, that's what this whole episode is about. So what does prop trading stand for, and what does it mean?
So prop trading stands for proprietary trading. It's like you're trading for your own business. I went in there and I had to fill my own capital account with $7,500. And with that $7,500, I got all the lessons, yada, yada, and they gave me $500,000 worth of buying power. So it's like I have $7,500. If I'm trading the market, I could buy $7,500 worth of stock. Now, with them, I had $500,000 worth of buying power to buy stock. And it sounds great. It sounds like, oh man, easy money. All I need is more money to make more money. But what it really does for most traders is it just hastens up the failure rate. It just makes them fail quicker because they have more money and they're going to take bigger risks. Right. And in the beginning, you're just learning, Right. So you're going to just quickly just empty that account and either have to refill it or just be done and get the next seat going. And it was just a numbers game to them.
And so as a prop trader, or for someone who's basically trading for someone else, like you said, you're making money for another company, another trading firm. How does one as a trader make an income off of that?
Right. So the math is completely just not on your side at all, because when I was in the business, that was before the emergence of Robinhood and all these things with cheap fees. So the entrance into the market was a lot more difficult. You didn't have the option of getting margin or all these things like that. So they had a lot more leverage at that time. So I had to, not only were they making money off my fees, I had to give them 30% of my profits. So let's say I make $100,000 in a year. I have to give them $30,000, and then I have to pay taxes on that. I have to give 25% of the taxes up of that $70,000 that I took home. So then, what is that? It's what is that? $14,000 or whatever, right there, or even more than that. So the numbers are just not on your side at those firms, because it's just you have to be such an efficient trader. You have to make $250,000 on $7,500 a year to really make it. It's like these crazy numbers against you, but that's not what they care about. They don't care if you're making money or not making money. They just care if you're trading, because the bulk of their money is coming from trader fees, like being the ticket taker.
Right. Jeez, that is crazy. So what is the prop trading business model, and how has it changed?
So like I was just saying, the business model is all about getting guys to trade, so now the deals for traders are much better. I think traders at prop firms only have to give up 10% of their profits because of the emergence of the Robinhoods and the Webull and the things that make it cheap to trade now. And that's a factor of technology. So that's really hurting those businesses these days. So that's why the prop trading firm is slowly dying. It's slowly dying, and it's have to. And it's just going to, circle. It's right now, it's just circling the drain, and it's only getting closer because people, it's bullshit. People are hip to the bullshit at this point.
And yet somehow you guys get thousands of messages of people asking about prop trading
every day. Well, it's appealing. It's the dream. Everyone wants to go to Wall Street, become a trader, make $1 million. It sounds good on paper, it's just, the failure rate is so fucking high. It's insane.
So what is the incentive in hiring traders and numbers?
So for them, the incentive is like I was talking about with the guy Leon.
Right.
Just hire 1 million of those Leons, even if they don't do anything. Just put them at a desk, give them an internet connection, and they'll still somehow make you money. But then there's guys like me. So when I started off, I like was completely enamored by the business. I did not dislike the business at all. I was like, oh my God, people are giving me this opportunity. I was so grateful. So I was the guy, I completely bought in. I was the guy who was trading 20, 30,000 shares a day. I was taking 30 trades a day. And it was just like, I was going through this crazy mental anguish so regularly, because when you're trading that often and that much, the probability just isn't in your favor.
Right.
The failure rate is again,
much
like
higher.
you talk about failure rate, right? It's so much higher. But that I was feeding into their business. I was just, they loved me so much there, because I would just trade and trade and trade. And in the beginning, I wasn't so worried about making money. I was so worried about learning. And so I would be like, all right, I made $30 today traded 30,000 shares. And then off me, they're going to make like $200 off that per day. And you have, 1,000 of these guys in a room. And so they just need more and more traders to just, keep filling their own business's bottom line.
Jeez. So just to go back a little, you said how if you weren't that good, they sort of pointed you out right away and try to get rid of you as soon as possible. So how did you, or not to speak for Ben, but how did you guys overcome that sort of like pressure that was always instilling you guys that you guys better like keep up or you're out of here? So how did you overcome something like that?
I mean, we had these crazy work schedules, and I'm telling you, we weren't making shit at this time. And we would get in there at 6 a.m. and we were there till 7:30 at night. And we just all bought into the system that we had to be doing this, or else we're gonna get fired, or we're gonna become like the Leons of the world. They had us so scared straight that I was making myself crazy. And I mean, you have to be the type of person that's willing to do this shit too. I was very willing to do it. I loved it. I love the, I'm not going to make it type thing. There aren't a lot of guys making it type thing. So that kind of fed me. That kind of, that was my main motivation, that chip on my shoulder, that, all right, fuck these guys, I'm going to make it. That's what really led me. But besides me and Ben, every other person I've ever come across from that industry, there's like 2 or 3 guys I know that are still trading either for a hedge fund or whatever it is. Everyone else is an accountant, some other bullshit, because they just couldn't make it trading. And because it's just the failure rate, again, yeah. all I talk about, the failure rate at those places is crazy.
So when was it the last straw for you? When did you all right, I'm done with this, I'm going on my own, Ben, we out of here? What was the last straw?
It was when I finally I got my account up to a certain point. I always had this number in my mind that, if I can get this point, I could probably go off on my own. And that was really it. It was getting my numbers up, getting my ducks in a row so that I wouldn't have to, be so worried about life. And that was really it. Because, at that time, I was still giving them 30% of my profits, which is like a fucking dagger, Because traders pay so much in taxes and all these other things, and exchange fees and commissions and all that. So to have 30% of my profits being taken, that was like, how can I get out of here fast enough? So once I hit that number, it was kind of like, all right, now I kind of go, now it's time to go.
So have, talking about trading experts and the, thousands of members that you guys have any trading trading expert members tried to, go prop trading?
Yeah, it's so funny. And, me and Ben, all we do is tell the horror stories. And what does that make people do? They're like, oh, I want to try that.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, we steer people away from it. But, people, it's like the, kids with the electrical outlet. You got to learn on your own. And I had to learn on my own, zap. But we've had 4 guys, I think. And 3 of them were not successful, but they found jobs within finance industry. So they're taking it as a positive. And then there was only one, my man Phil, who moved on to a hedge fund. And he had a similar situation to us, where it's like, I don't look back on those years as if they were like the most amazing years, but it helped me learn so much and all that. So, and then he found strength and he made the necessary connections, right, to get, into the industry.
Right.
to work for a hedge fund. Yeah.
So, what were some of the craziest things you saw on the desk?
Oh man, it was. I mean, this is also a different time. The work environment has changed, a lot in the last 4 or 5 years.
Right.
So that it was.
It's all about emotions now and feelings, and you can't talk to people a certain way.
Yo, right. And now people are gonna call the news on you or whatever.
Yeah.
But back then it was the fucking Wild West. It was like, and again, like it was the traders coming out to us at the end of the day. What the fuck did you trade today? I've seen a few fights on the desk. Just people trying to embarrass other people like regularly. It was this constant, like it was like a lion's den where everyone was just on each other's ass all the time.
Did you ever get into a fight on the trading floor?
Yeah, a little bit. It got broken up. It's funny. I'll tell you about it. My man, Frankie Butters, who I'm still friends with to this day. We still talk a lot, a few times a month. He always came up with these strange trading theories about whether it be inside days or whatever. So he was trying to connect. Like he was like, this inside day from 2 weeks ago is going to affect this day or whatever. So he was short the market, and a bunch of us on the desk were long. So he wanted the market to go down. We wanted to go up. So 9:45 around, he starts stomping his feet because it's quiet. We're not making money or anything. Right. Market's going down a bit. He's like, I don't hear anyone talking. Everyone, it's awfully quiet in here. So
just looking for trouble.
We're fuming at this point, fuming. So the market turns around midday, and towards the end of the day, market would just completely rage. We were right, he was wrong type thing. And oh man, and it was such a bad move by me. But at the time, it seemed like the right thing to do. I remember going up to him. I was like, "This is why they fucking say amateurs rule the open and pros the close." It's like amateurs, always talking shit up the open, and the pros talking shit at the end of the day. That he stood up, we were like face to face and about to square off. Fucking retarded stuff. But he's still one of my friends to this day. But that was just like the mentality and the aggressive nature that everyone had to have on the desk. It's funny now.
I mean, where the big dogs of those trading firms was did they encourage that like sort of anger, sort of toughness on there?
My mentor was clapping. He's going, "I fucking love it. Get him.
Be his ass."
Yeah, right. He's like, "I love the mentality of this desk." I'll give you another one real quick. Another funny one. Speaking of the big dogs, so there's this dude, this Brazilian dude. His name is Paulo. So the way it works is you get hired, and then you have to study for your tests for a couple months on the side of the room, and then you do practice trading for a month, and then after that you go live. You're on the desk. You're sitting on the desk. It's this dude's first day trading live. He's from Brazil. Doesn't speak great English. So we were trading whatever stock it was. I think it was S-Fun. It was a Chinese stock back in the day. And he's sitting there. He said, I'm sitting to sell some at 2074. So then Paulo goes, "Oh, cool. All right. I'm at 72s, which you never do. You never sell in front of a big dog or a boss. Right. That means, so if he's trying to sell at 72s, his order is going to get completed before the one at 74s. So, 2174. Right. So he chiseled the big dog. It's called chiseling. That was a no-no. The big dog got up. He got in his face, stand up, and he screamed, he says, "You fucking chiseling piece of shit." This dude's first day at work. Never saw Paulo again. Never came back to work. He was done. He went back to Brazil. That was it. And that was just like, that was Tuesday. I like Paulo.
Yeah.
I liked Paulo. Guess, never see you again.
Jeez, that is, all right. So let's go on to some more stories. You mentioned the guy named Mr. X. Can you tell us about him?
Oh God, this guy was an absolute legend. So he was one of the first, real big dogs that came across us. And it's funny because he started out like we started out. He started trading around the same time I did, but he had so much money to fill his account that, again, if you have money, they're gonna like you a lot more. Right. So his parents filled his account with like $1 million or something like that. Some fucking disgusting.
That little baby loan that Trump said his dad gave him.
Here, let me just slide you $1 million real quick. So he. So I'll never forget the Twitter IPO. I made $32. I traded 30,000 shares. I was like trading my ass off, my small ass, $7,500. He went up 100K. He didn't sell a dime and ended up losing 20K on the day. And he said, and he was like, all right, Jack, like, you know, I really wanted to be your first trader to make $1 million in a day. And yeah, this guy was an absolute legend. From there, though, he exploded, and he has his own hedge fund right now. But he was just an absolute legend. Big swinging dick of the office. He became like the big boss dog, and then he eventually left to start his own hedge fund.
Wow. All right. So in your stories, you also mentioned a guy named Jack who liked to walk around with a baseball bat.
So Jack, so Jack was the guy I was talking about with Paolo.
Oh, okay.
All right, this dude was the most intimidating dude. So he would walk around. We would have these morning meetings, and he had like a mini baseball bat, and he'd just be. And so, all right, so we would have these morning meetings, and they would be in another room. So there are all these desks in one room. There are 5 desks in one room, and those are all the beginner desks. And I was on desk 1 of 5 at the time, and you just try to work your way up. Desk 2, desk 3, and it's all trading performance, and it's all your ideas and all that shit. So in the beginning of the day, we would go to the other room, and that was like the 6th desk. That was like the fucking big dog desk. And we would all the traders would be in their computers, and then us mooks, they called us little mooks.
Yeah.
We'd have to stand around the room, and Jack would be swinging his fucking bat. The fuck are you looking at today? What are you looking at? And just pointing at people, picking people up. And if you weren't prepared, oh my God, you either had to do 50 push-ups on the floor, or you just got told to go home. They would just go the fuck home. What are you doing here today? Get the fuck out of here. And that was just like should have been prepared. They kind of instilled this fear in you so that, you know, it was like a drill sergeant mentality. Like, I'm never going to fuck up if I know the consequences are so bad.
Jeez. All right. So what about the Yusef story?
Oh, Yusef. He's the man. He's our boy. He's a trading expert. Remember, he went to a prop firm, and he was there for 3 or 4 months. He did his thing, but he didn't come out the other side. But he ended up getting a job in the industry, just meeting people and stuff. So he's doing some back office work for Jeffries. But he's killing it. He's working his way up.
All right. So do you have because you mentioned in your programs any trading secrets? Trading secrets like you guys mentioned in your programs.
Oh, yeah, I mean, there's a few. I wasn't prepared for this one. I don't got any questions.
All right, that's fine. All right.
Yeah,
we'll move on.
yeah,
So do you regret the experience?
You know, it's funny. You know, I want to say no flat out, but partially because I'm so fucking mentally fucked from it. No, not at all, because it made me into the trader I am today. And there was a while where I thought you had to be that asshole type guy. So, you know, I was reading a lot of psychology books and things like that to not have that mentality the way the big dogs had over there. But other than that, I mean, it was such a great experience. It instilled a great work ethic in me, because what's better work ethic than fear? You know, I was so scared about, you know, being picked off, being called out, all these things. So it was, you know, it was really hard. And I don't look back on the years as really happy times, but they were necessary times in order to become the person I am today. So you know, there'd be no trading experts if I didn't meet Ben on that desk 6 years ago. So,
you know, just to wrap up a little. So what were your main sort of, what can you take your key, like, how can I put it? Like your key things, key events that sort of happen on the MOOC desk, like you guys like to say, that you take away from that and you use not only in your trading career, but sort of in like everyday life that you can pass on to others.
So it was, I mean, it gave us so much preparation and consistency. We would have to be on the desk, as I mentioned before, like 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. And the market doesn't open until 9:30. We had no reason to be in there that early, right, other than we were the newbies. We knew the least. So we had to be in before everyone else. By the time, you know, when you make it up to those 5th and 6th desks, when you're like kind of a boss at this point, you know, you can come in at 9:15, stroll in, you're doing your own research type thing. So, but they instilled these lessons in us where it was, you know, you got to be in here super early. You got to put in this crazy amount of work and expect to make no money. So it was just kind of the overall work ethic, I guess.
Building that discipline within you guys.
Right.
All right. So, absolutely. I mean, talking about prop trading, I mean, any last thoughts, Shake, before we sign off that you'd like to tell everybody?
I would say if you're thinking about going the prop trading route, I mean, there's way better options. They're not really going to think about your long term. They're not going to think about they just have no, you know, long term, and they don't focus on the trading psychology aspect at all or anything like that. So I don't really recommend it to anyone. I mean, I look because the failure rate is like 99%. They say online 90%, but there's no way it's got to be 99% because I don't know anyone doing it anymore besides me and a couple other people. So I'd say there's better ways, like hitting up trading experts.
There you go. All right, and I mean, Sheikh, thank you so much for signing on today and speaking to the people about prop trading because, like Ben said, you guys get thousands of messages about prop trading and what it is about, but people should stay away. Listen clearly, stay away from prop trading. Sheikh, thanks again so much, man. You are my dog,
Dennis, man. I appreciate you, baby.
Yeah, man, always. Check out Trading Experts, tradingexperts.com. Trading Experts on Instagram, and don't forget to check out PadaDeisos, PadaDeisos.world, and PadaDeisos Podcast on Instagram. And Sheikh, this is definitely not our last talk. We're gonna definitely have a lot more to come. The people need to know more and more and more. Check out Trading Experts app on the App Store. Check out their 3 free programs that they have available. I mean, there's no excuse not to check out Trading Experts. They have free stuff, guys. And it's crazy that I mentioned that because Ben last time on the episode, he was always he said that people are always saying, man, you guys don't offer free stuff. And then when you offer the free stuff, people don't even read it.
Right.
All right. So guys, thank you again for tuning in. We know it was a little short, but I mean, it was straight to the point. And hell, maybe we'll do more 20, 15-minute podcast episodes. And yeah, until next time, guys, thank you so much. God bless you all and goodbye.